I have a confession to make. I was, in fact, a hippie. Now, I'm not proud of it. It's something I don't tell to a lot of people, although I still kind of look like one. Mainly because I have long hair and don't bathe as often as I should. That's a joke, by the way. I shower. There's been a lot of discourse lately about hippies on TikTok. Hence why I feel like I should make a video about it. Because I have firsthand experience being a hippie. And if you need proof, here is a picture of me circa 2016, 2017, around that time, getting dreads. Now, I only had two. I didn't have a full thing of dreads, but unfortunately, I did have dreads. And as a reminder to myself of this great shame of mine being a damn dirty hippie in my youth, I kept them. I should throw them away. They smell fine. Like, I washed my hair before I cut it, but that was also a long time ago, and they've just been sitting in a Ziploc bag. But it's like, I don't know. They kind of look like fingers. Like, I got Grinch fingers. I got Grinch fingers. Yeah, so I have my shame in a box that I keep by my bed. If you don't know what a hippie is, the hippie movement, or the peace and love movement. Hippies came about in around the 50s and 60s and kind of hit critical mass in the late 60s, the summer of 69. Hippies were a group of young people who were trying to go against the establishment, go against the government, go against mainly their parents, like a lot of young people, just trying to find meaning in life. And they did so by just adopting a lot of Eastern spiritual practices and in a lot of cases just bastardizing them to fit their needs. Hippies are kind of really weird because they talk all about how this is from personal experience, mind you. No shade to any people that I was friends with in the past. I wish you all peace and love and have a lovely day. But hippies will talk all about how they're about peace and love and vibrations are all that matters in this world. You just gotta project positivity. But then they'll just hit you with like, hey, do you know gayness is a mental illness? I had a person tell me once while we were all very high on marijuanas that gay, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but it is a mental illness. It's a genetic abnormality and makes them not normal compared to, I was going to say me, but I'm gay as hell. But the person was like, compared to me, who is a straight person, I'm the normal. To which me, as somebody with LGBT family members and also who's a part of that community myself, I got pretty upset and started immediately pushing back at them. They had no evidence. A lot of hippies will just read stuff off the internet, which I guess most people do nowadays. Like, you just get your information off the internet. I also had another person try and convince me that flat earth was real. And their evidence for the flat earth being a thing was, look at this Instagram post with all of these facts about how the earth is flat. A lot of these conversations would also happen when we were all unbelievably high and or drunk, which was a thing just hippies do in general. Like, the timeline of a hippie is you're in high school, you're bored, or you have mental illness and you're bored and you're just trying to get out of your head. So you start smoking weed or doing some other illicit substance. For me, it was mostly weed. I didn't like to drink that much until later in my 20s. And when you're smoking weed and hanging out with people that also smoke weed as like their main hobby, you get involved in the culture. And the culture of weed smokers and stoners is very much reggae culture and Jamaican Rasta culture. So you end up listening to Bob Marley on loop over and over again and talking about how the world just needs more love and peace. But then eventually you get like older and older and you start paying more and more bills yourself. And once you start paying more and more bills yourself, you realize that you can't just be peace and love all the time. Sometimes people are just innately dickheads. So then it kind of wears away where you're like, yeah, I'm trying to be peace and love. But then capitalism gets its grips on you. It keeps digging at your core until you just become a full-on capitalist. And a lot of hippies that I have met in my life, and from what I've seen historically, go on to like live very conservative lifestyles or just switch to like more Republican point of views. I say switch, but from the example I said earlier, this person was talking about how the earth's flat and gay people are bad and abnormal. So the beliefs were already instilled and inside of them. It just, once they got old enough, they dropped the whole hippie persona. And historically, that's what happened too. Once you kind of reach like a wall with being a hippie where you realize, okay, I can say peace and love all day and all night, but at the end of the day, I got to pay my rent. So let me just, let me focus on that. And then you lose focus of the other stuff, peace and love and whatnot, which I'm not saying those are bad messages. You should project positivity. Being nice to people is innately a good thing, but you can't just skip to the finish line. Being nice to people is like a day-to-day thing you have to work on if you aren't just innately a good person or weren't raised correctly or raised like in a nice environment. A lot of hippies were trying to escape the oppressiveness of their parents or just the general, just trying not to be their parents. I think that's a struggle with every young person. You are like, I don't want to grow up to be my mom, my dad. I don't want to grow up to be anything like them. And then you reach like age 25 to 30 and you go, damn, maybe they were right, or not that they were right, but you just kind of start to fall into the patterns that your parents fall into. It's what America is best known for, breaking its people to its like bare parts and then just creating workers. Yeah. I spent a lot of time in my early 20s just thinking I was a good person without like showing any of the signs of being a good person. I just had convinced myself because I was vegan and because I was a hippie who smoked weed all day and talked about positivity that meant I was positive. It wasn't until I was much older that I realized I was just being an asshole, but then acting like I was the good person. Like I would treat people actively like shit, like be rude to people or just be cross with people, not be patient with people. And then I'd be like, well, why aren't they treating me nice? It's like, because you're just pretending to be nice. It's something everyone struggles with, I feel like. If you come from like a broken home of some sort, it's hard to know how to be a good person because they don't teach you how to do that. And the hippie movement kind of, it's like a ticket to the finish line in the eyes of everyone who's a hippie, because they get to upset their parents and not be anything like them, even though a lot of parents also did very similar stuff to rebel against their parents. But you get to say like, oh, just by being a hippie and saying I'm positive and all about peace and love, that means that I actually am. Faking it till you make it, but you don't know what making it is. And I can honestly say most of the people that were shouting all about peace and love that I've met in my life were some of the most awful people or were willing to do pretty awful things to the people around them. Kind of has like a air of like, this is the correct way to be and everyone else should act the way I act. That's how I felt when I was a hippie. I felt like, this is so obvious. Be nice to people. Why can't these fucking idiots, these fucking mouth breathers get on the same page as me and just love everybody the same and look at everyone equally? The irony being, of course, that I'm being short with people and being rude to people, and I still struggle with that from this to this day. I spent many years in therapy talking about it. That was a long tangent. TikTok. There have been two hippie final bosses that have appeared on TikTok recently, and there's been a lot of discussion about it. The first one is two people dancing. It's mainly this one person in the middle. In the middle is only two people. The one on the left, your left. They're dancing to a reggae song, and a lot of people have noticed, wow, that's a really nice house you live in. Every video is them dancing in this nice house. Upon doing my research, and research I mean just looking in the comment section of like most of these videos, it appears this person is actually from Poland, and I'd imagine the quality of life in Poland is a lot better than the United States. So this house could just be an average Polish house. I don't know. Why did I say it like that? I don't know. I've never been to Poland, and I don't have any immediate plans of going as of right now. It could just be that the quality of life is better in Poland. This person isn't really even doing anything. They haven't said anything on any of their TikTok. All of their TikToks are them going like this and pretending to be stoned while listening to reggae music in various parts of their house, mostly the main one. And then the other final boss of TikTok hippies is Janine Blake, who if you've been on TikTok, you've probably seen. She sings this song. She's living in a van. She's a very pretty woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, dreads. Give me 1 second, because I initially was going to make this video being like, oh, she's a rich person cosplaying as a poor person. I've actually been a victim of misinformation. I thought that her father worked at Lockheed Martin. Turns out that was actually not true, and her father is not rich. Her mom is not rich either. I mean, this could be dated, and who knows, maybe in the future we'll find out that they were bajillionaires or something. But from what it seems like, her backstory is her mom was a single mother who raised a bunch of kids, and then she had a kid at a very young age, I believe like 18. And then she was a single mother who was working at like Best Buy and like a bunch of other like random retail stores until she decided to buy a van and move to California and work on a weed farm. And then that's where her music career started. She actually posted music years and years ago on YouTube. So she is not a product of rich kids just rebelling against their parents. Everyone thought. Because when I see van life people in general, I see rich people cosplaying as poor people. That's what most of the van life movement is. This isn't the case though. She just kind of lived in a van with her kid, worked on a weed farm, and then she just got viral, like from TikTok and YouTube and whatnot, and is now just like a successful musician and makes money through that. Let's get into the negative. The clip that everyone's seen of Janine Blake, her latest like song, has a lot of problematic stuff in it. A lot of hippies are very prone to conspiracy theories. I talked earlier about how somebody was telling me that the earth was flat and that aliens are real. Hippies love aliens. Aliens being real is like super big in the hippie culture. You see people taking DMT or taking acid and being like, I communed with the aliens. And it's like, okay, why are they talking to you, dude? Why are they talking to a random person who is like a random like 20-year-old in the middle of bumfuck nowhere? They're going to talk to you and give you the instructions on how to live a good life. As someone who's taken a lot, maybe aliens didn't like me because I've taken a lot of acid myself and I didn't talk to any aliens. I just realized I had to change every aspect of my life because I was living a lie. I just had a couple good times and a couple bad times on acid. In her new song, she talks about how aliens built the pyramids. That's a huge thing in hippie culture, is that aliens built the pyramids. They believe in but they believe a lot of like these conspiracy theories that there's like reptilians, aliens built the pyramids. There's a cabal of like evil people kidnapping children, but that's true at this point. At least they got one of them. The aliens building the pyramids, that's up for debate. Actually, it's not. It's not up for debate. We know how the pyramids were built. It was just pure human cruelty. You throw enough slaves and enough generations of slaves at a building project and they're gonna get it done. They have no other choice. That's their whole life. You find with a lot of these conspiracy theories that they were started by Nazis. Specifically, like harnessing different forms of mental energy. I think a very famous one that conspiracy theorists like to hold on to is Vril energy, which is 100% made by Nazis, like created by Nazis. They believe that there was this thing called Vril energy that could be harnessed both mentally and also just like to actually like do stuff, power electronics and whatnot. A lot of these alien theories, like them building the pyramids and stuff, was started by Nazis as well. So when they say, oh, this was built by the aliens, it takes away the culture of a people. It was made by Egyptian people. It was made by African people in Egypt, which is in Africa. So when you hear like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady talking all about how aliens made the pyramids and that she can heal her kidneys just by mere thought alone. I also used to, I mean, not to that extreme. If I like actually hurt myself, I would go to a hospital. But there was a lot of times in my youth where it's like I had an ailment or sickness. I just thought I could will it away. And there is something to say about the placebo effect. That is a thing. but you can't heal a kidney infection. You just have a kidney infection that you've learned to ignore, or you numb it through some other source like marijuana or drinking or drugs. And also, dreads are cultural appropriation. I used to be on the other side of the fence on that. I used to, when I was younger, be like, dreads are for everybody. There shouldn't be you shouldn't be able to keep a hairstyle for a specific culture. Now I'm full 180 where I'm like, yeah, white people in dreads, not good. I wouldn't recommend doing it. If you want to, like, at the end of the day, you can do whatever the fuck you want with your hair. It's just, I don't think it really looks good on white people. Like, that's an opinion of mine. She is pretty harmless. Like, a lot of people who were speaking out against her on TikTok were like, it's dangerous to tell people they can heal their kidney disease or their kidney infection from just thinking positive thoughts. That's dangerous to tell people. And it's like, who's listening to this music and going, wait, you can heal a kidney infection without antibiotics? Cool. Like, no one is doing that. And if they are, at that point, that's just natural selection. Like, you make your decisions based on what a random TikTok singer is singing. That's insane. It doesn't, like, there's not going to be kids watching that and they're going to go, next time I have kidney pain, I'm not going to the hospital. It's like, no, if you have kidney pain, most people are going to the hospital. At the end of the day, both of these hippies on TikTok, pretty harmless. Like, they are actually not doing anything bad besides like spouting conspiracy theories that have pretty nefarious origins. But at the same time, they probably don't know that and are not knowingly doing it because of that. Like, they just are ignorant to the origin of it, which of course they are. No one researches nowadays. You just want to get the facts instantly. No one reads an article. They just read the title and go, yep, that's it. Bad. This person bad. And then you read the article and it's like, well, they're actually not bad. But you leave with just the article title. So that's what people are getting. They're like, oh, this hippie on TikTok is saying fucked up stuff. They need to be stopped. And it's like, no, they don't. Let them just be. They're not doing any harm at all. Hippies are always going to exist. All the hippies grew up and they started to get actual big corporate jobs and they realized, oh, well, kids like to rebel. So what if we can profit off of that? Most hippies are just capitalists at the end of the day. They started just selling more and more tie-dye stuff to the point in which you can go to Target any day of the week. You can go to Walmart any day of the week and you can find a bunch of mass-produced tie-dye stuff with like peace and love on it or positivity written on it. But yeah, ex-hippie here, hippies bad. If somebody tells me they're a hippie, I do not want to interact with them. I've been burned too many times. This could be just my own personal experience, and there could be plenty of people that are hippies and super nice. But in my experience, everyone that's been about peace and love in my life that I've met, myself included, ended up being pretty bitter and hateful people at the end of the day. Had no desire to work on that. They had already attained enlightenment. But yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to make a video spouting about hippies and stuff because I used to be one. I used to be a proud hippie. I used to tell people, I'm a stoner. I'm a hippie. I love. Which that's so stupid to say. Who doesn't love? No, actually, I love hate. I want more hate. No, actually, scratch that. I'm very sensitive. Don't be mean to me. If you see anybody who's a hippie, pour water on them or something. I don't know. Or just walk away. I'm going to say the second option because you shouldn't pour water on people. But hey, if you got a whole bottle of water, a glass of water, what's the harm in it? Anyway, if you like me ranting about hippies, you want to know more about my hippie past, comment down below any questions you might have about being a hippie or a stoner, or your experience being a hippie or a stoner or meeting hippies and stoners. What's your favorite conspiracy theory a hippie has ever told you? If you like me, like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't, also like, comment, and subscribe. It's free for now until the government comes and makes it mandatory. You have to subscribe to me for money. Okay, bye.